cam with some turbo dots. 네, 여기도 있고. So why street photography is my passion. So one thing I love about street photography is that, yeah, one of the great things about street photography is kind of just like how social it is. I mean, I think every time I go to downtown LA, I'm shooting street photography, do a workshop. Yeah. It kind of gives me new motivation to just talk and interact with people. And also one of the great things with street photography is that it's probably the best way to stay connected with reality and real people. Pro tip, crispy pork belly at H Mart. Get the pork rib meat, put in the air fryer. He loves it. So yeah, and I think street photography, it's great because it's like it requires courage, agility, like us new Spartan 300s, right? It requires us to have the courage and the chutzpah, the balls to shoot the photo. I really still think that like 90% of street photography, it's guts and courage. Like my friend Thomas Loitard said, 85mm.ch said, you know, street photography is 90% balls. I think he's actually pretty correct. Actually, even out of all the street photographers out there, still maybe the street photographer who I admire the most is probably Thomas, Thomas, Loitard, Leuthard, because he had the courage to approach street photography his own way rather than, you know, giving fellatio to all the other great street photographers from the past. And I think his approach is very honest. And yeah, and I think the big problem in street photography is everyone's giving to the Alex Webb aesthetic, which is layers and colors, and then like every time somebody name drops somebody, they essentially give them metaphorical head. It's just like, bro, you're gonna be a swallower for the rest of your life. There better be a dick and a swallower, right? Like don't be a swallower, right? And this is the big problem with kids nowadays too, is you get to Ivy Leagues or whatever. Everyone's always trying to name drop somebody else to augment their self-esteem. So anytime that somebody mentions, anyone mentions Foucault, Heidegger, I'm like, bro, you have no idea what you're talking about, and or you're just trying to legitimize your lack of courageous thinking by name dropping somebody else. So never trust a name dropper. Anyone's even something Nassim Taleb says, like the International Department of Name Droppers, the International Association of Name Droppers. So whenever anyone name drops, consider that they lack a truly independent thought. But anyways, so I think with with street photography, I think there's a really bright future ahead for street photography. I mean, you think about the iPhone Pro, the iPhone Pro. Essentially, it's kind of the ideal street photography camera for most people. I still prefer the Ricoh GR3 3X, but for the average person, I think the iPhone Pro is actually pretty ideal. So yeah, so now Apple is a street photography company, right? So shout out to my okay. So shout out to my friends at Apple, because we all street dogs, right? Apple dogs. Yep. Go. Apple dogs. And yeah, like especially the ultra wide mode on the iPhone is really good for street photography, good for creativity, etc. And then it looks like moving forward, the iPhone Pro, I'm certain the camera's not going to get worse over time. So as the camera keeps getting better and more and more people getting street photography, so it's a good time. So actually now I think it's a good time to be a street photographer, blogger, vlogger, influencer, whatever you want to call yourself. Get off the Instagrams, get off the Facebooks. Instagram's for losers. Yeah, I think YouTube is actually still great, because the nice thing with YouTubies is that like it's, you know, essentially a good way to promote yourself and get your name out there. And also with YouTube, 맛있어. The thing with YouTube is, you know, don't put ads, don't try to monetize, don't try to get a bunch of subscribers, whatever. Just share information and thoughts which you find personally pertinent. 상? 어디 갈래? 한니 여기 앉을래? 아빠가 이거 뺏겨? Okay. Seneca hates it when I'm wearing the vest. It's okay. Okay? Also, real street dogs have kids, right? I mean, if you think about it, kids should be the most courageous street photographer. They don't care about no. Okay, honey. Okay, yeah. And yeah, so and even if you think about all of Leica, right, Leica Q and whatever, essentially it's, I mean, what is it for? It's for street photography. So even Leica, one should think of as a street photography company. Yeah. It's like people who are really into street photography, who who want to spend the big bucks, right? And even though, you know, people might criticize Leica, right? I still think it's cheaper to buy a Leica than to buy a Lambo, right? Yeah, that is so. But honestly, at this point, I have no idea who Leica is even for anymore. It's like get the Ricoh GR3X. I rate it a quadrillion times better than any Leica M whatever or any Leica Q whatever. Ricoh Mafia for life. Ricoh Mafia. Ricoh. 상? 오케이. 운전할래? 운전해? 오케이. 가자. 오케이. 한니 공원 갈래? 오케이, 가자. 헤헤. 에헤. 부두붕. 오케이. 오케이. 가자. 네. 들어가자. 그거는 왜 저래요? 네. 아이고. 네. Yeah. Roll up. Okay. 오케이. 우리 어벤처 타임 가자. 왜 여기 갈래? 여기 열고 싶어? 오케이. 여기 갈래? 오케이, 가자. 네. 이거 던지고. 오케이. 잘했어. 오케이. 우리 어벤처 타임. 우리 공원 가서 놀자. 네가 스탠튼 센트럴파크 좋아하지? 내가 저기. 네, 엄마가 집에 있어요. 아니, 우유님? 우유? 오케이, 우유 줄게. 오케이. 우리 스탠튼 가서 놀고 다시 집에 오자. 네. 오케이. 우유? 싫어? 오케이, 한이 GarageBand? 오케이, 아빠. Whoopsies. Okay. Oh, pro tip, GarageBand for kids is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, 아빠가 리사 끄고 언니한테 GarageBand 줄게요. 오케이, 여기 있어요. 잘했어요. 오케이, 가자. Also, if you're gonna GoPro vlog yourself, just put your GoPro on the cell phone, smartphone mount you got in the car. Okay. Also, 네. 오케이, 아빠가 들어줄게요. 오케이, 켜봐. 오케이. Okay, so yeah. 잘했어요. Also, don't buy an expensive iPhone because your kid's gonna trash it. Right, so 네, 잘했어요. 오케이, 바꿔요. Oh, also another random thought I have too, right, is I kind of like this idea of lifestyle integration. Is that like don't separate your life, your lifestyle, blah blah, from your kids. Just kind of integrate it all together. But oh, so also another thought too. If you got kids, right? It seems the least bad place to take your kid to is the park, because assuming that we are the new Spartan 300s, and you want physical training for your kid, honestly, I think 90% of a kid's development should be physical, not like all these stem cell toys or monster stories. The physical is probably the most important factor. Gotta bring back PE, right? So yeah, actually my ideal Air Kim monster story would be kind of like some sort of like an open air gymnasium place where kids could throw around dumbbells and rocks and get them into javelin and shot put and stuff like that. Think ancient Greeks and the Spartan 300s. But anyways, so yeah, so I think oh yeah, talking about street photography, what I was talking about, right? So street photography is great because everybody just kind of stuck at home, kind of like, it's like, what are you gonna do at home? You're gonna watch some mediocre things on Netflix or streaming services, or turn on the Google Incognito and then, you know, dip into the prawn, right? Like, one of the best things I heard from a guy at the gym is like, oh, he's like, go to the gym. He's like, why I like go to the gym? He's like, oh, just to go there to look at all the pretty girls, right? Yeah, street photography is kind of cool too, especially going to downtown LA or other places. It's kind of a nice chance to just like look at pretty girls, I don't know, pretty boys, pretty humans. Yeah, dude. Okay, shout out to the Apple GarageBand team, music team. These are all beats made by Seneca. He's only 1 year, 9 months, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the next Skrillex or Kanye, right? So yeah, street photography affords us the chance to be connected to reality and to actually flex our confidence and our social muscles, something that we're not able to do nowadays with all these Zoom calls and these, you know, insecure tech nerds trying to flex on each other. This is the reason why I would never want to work at any tech company, is all these petty office politics and hierarchies and, you know, everyone breaking all these HR things. But yeah, and so essentially the self-employment, I think, is the way, right? Like, the best ideal lifestyle is you're self-employed, you know, you only pay $500 a month in rent. Ways to do that is either get a roommate or, you know, live at home. You know, people's like, yeah, but I want to be independent, can't live with my parents. I'm like, bro, like, that's like so much smarter. Like, even now we're living at Cindy's mom's house and only paying $500 a month in rent, and it's great. Like, got built-in babysitter services when me and Cindy want to go on all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue dinner dates late at night.